You know, I'm so excited to film this video today. It's a 2026 HON. Many thanks to Minimaru for sending it to me. I have been kind of absent on YouTube for quite a while now. It's been kind of an overwhelming year and so many competing things. And I kind of almost didn't want to film this today because my hands are a mess. I usually have nice nails. But I think it's much more important just to show up and do the things. My friends and I always say that done is better than perfect. And I'm actually super reinvigorated by new planner season. The Hobonichi launch has made me so happy. There's so many exciting things that are coming, and I was so excited when Minimaru reached out to me here in Melbourne to say, I'm going to send you a HON and I'd love you to test the paper and compare it with last year's paper. So that's what we're going to do today. All right, let's get to the HON. This is the Navy / HON. As you can see, we've got this little belly band here, which I will take off, but we'll have a quick look at. 1 page per day, lay flat binding, Tombow River paper. And of course, this has the much improved Tombow River paper this year. So that's what we're going to have a look at. 24-hour timetable, versatile 3.7mm grid, secret line, daily quotes, 12 color tabs, and a Monday start mini calendar on each spread as well. Okay, I think, well, maybe not, but I'm pretty sure those of you who are here do know what the HON and other Techos are like. Now, if you didn't know, the HON does come with this plastic pencil board for free. Oops. So this is plastic, and you can see hopefully see that it's gridded, and it has a little like a vinyl pen clip here which can hold the clip of your pen loop, I should say, and it holds the clip of your pen. I've got my little Penco paper bag here with my Hobonichi pens in it. This pink one is my favorite. Anyway, we'll come back to those when we start to do some pen tests. So this is the pencil board. I've got a few of these. I have A5 and A6 HONs from previous years. I haven't really used it so much. I don't know. I prefer a pen clip that's actually attached to the planner. I find that a little bit easier. But that's okay. Let's have a look at the HON itself. So the end papers in the HON are different to all of the other books, and it just says HON, whereas the others say Hobonichi or Hobo. I'll have to get one and see. And here's my Juneda Weeks, and it has Hobo written all over it. Okay, so let's just have a very quick look through the book. It's 2026, as you can see. It's the original, the A6 sized. We've got a 2026 calendar and then 2025 and 2027. It looks like I have the English version of the HON here. We've got our, what I call the calendex or the tracking area. So we've got December 2025 through until March 2027. And then the December calendar, and we go through to March 2027. Then we have our turning a page to a new year, and then we go straight into a January cover page, and then the dailies for the rest of the year. There's a quote here that says, "Isn't it beautiful that after every day a new day begins? That's the feeling I was putting into that scene." It's a director talking about a movie. So we have the colored tabs and lines throughout the months. And this year, if you haven't seen, they're coming out with stationery, stickers, sticky notes, all sorts of things that match these colors, as well as a set of pens too. So very excited for that to come. Okay, in the back we have these blue pages of graph paper, not a ton of them, but you know, maybe, I don't know, 12 or so pages, I think. And then we have a timetable. We have graph paper, 2 pages of graph paper. We have a favorites page, Oh, we have another set of favorites as well. I think that's extended. We've got the My 100. I've been using this to do TV shows and movies throughout the year. I kind of stopped doing it maybe around June. I don't know why. Oh, and this year we have a memories spread. So it says Memories 2026. Note down your experiences that happen over the year. So food, friends, fun times, and then something you can do for yourself. And then the little note section at the back here is 12 switches to help you focus. Oh, that's cool. Giving you some productivity information and some information for a comfortable night's sleep. That's always helpful for us. And we've got the words to remember. I was using this for phrases, silly things that I hear in meetings. Yeah, very funny. We've got our 365, and then we've also got a looking back at the year 2026. My big news, my buzzword, color, song, show, etc., etc. That's new as well, I think. Getting the most out of your Hobonichi Techo. Lots of things there. We've got a gift list, addresses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a little personal information page. And then your serial number at the back. So let's have a little feel of this paper. Oh, we've got our bookmarks as usual, one that is gold and one that is navy. Just flatten those out. And yeah, let's look at this paper. So, I have to confess that I'm someone who didn't really have an issue with the paper last year. I don't use fountain pens heavily in my everyday planning, but I do understand that there were some issues with the paper last year for other people. So I do have my HON. This is the Mother HON from 2025. I do have this here to compare it with. Now, did I use this at all? It looks like I didn't. Oh my goodness. So this was supposed to be my hobbies journal. I was going to write about Lego. I've got a Lego postcard in here, and reading, TV shows, embroidery, all sorts of things I plan to put in here. Nintendo, lots of things. But as you can see, it didn't happen. Now, I don't care because I'm happy to ignore the year and just use it as a book. And I kind of knew that going in, that that's what I was planning to do. But anyway, it's good because it allows us to really compare these pages. Now, this is a Japanese HON. I kind of like getting the Japanese version, but there's not a lot of difference anymore between the Japanese and the original. So, sorry, the Japanese and the English. So maybe English is okay for me this year. So just on feel, I would say that this new paper definitely does feel smoother. This has a slight texture, very slight texture. And I was watching Lined Musings video and she said she thought it was a little bit thicker. I tried not to watch any, but I couldn't resist watching hers. And if you're really into fountain pen inks, definitely check out her video because she has gone into great detail on the fountain pen inks. I'm going to stick more with the markers and pens on my video today. Yeah, I agree. It does feel thicker. It does feel really nice, actually. So the one thing I really love about the Hobonichi paper is how crinkled it gets when you use like a sharp pen. So I do use a lot of gel pens in my that's my main thing, is gel pens, and the occasional ballpoint pen as well. So we're going to play with all of those today. I'm going to use the March spreads, maybe February and March spreads for 2027, just so that they're not spreads that might be used in real life. And I'm going to open up this one the same. I think the monthlies is probably the best place to do it, just because it's well, for me at least, I don't know about you, but for me it's a spread that I don't use as much, or I don't rely on as much. I really prefer, well, I actually prefer the weeklies in the Cousin, but I do use A6 a lot. And so I just have my meetings, etc., scheduled throughout my dailies. I try my best to be good at the monthly pages, but I'm not great. So I'm very happy to make some mess in this February and March spreads in here. If I run out of space, which I think I might, because I do have the entire stack of Tombows here. Of course, I'm not going to use them all. I've got my Tombows, I've got my Zig colored dot pens, I've got my Hobonichi ballpoint pens, and then I've got a stack of other pens here, gel and otherwise, as well as the uni pins, because these are very fine when you need it, but also they're good for translucent sticky notes. So I just like to try as many pens as I possibly can. In the past, I might have drawn up like pages in the back, but you know, done is better than perfect. Although maybe it is a good spot to do it. I do like this front pages, the monthly pages. I have used these before for pen tests in my Cousin in particular. So I think I'm going to stick here. I like that they're contained in boxes. So let's grab my favorite pen of the moment, which is actually a Muji pen. I'm using Muji pens for everything. And I'm going to just write down the pen that I'm going to use for that particular box. So Muji, and then I'm just going to do some squiggles and maybe hello. Okay, I didn't plan that out, but that's what's happening. So I'll pop that in this one as well. So not anything greatly different in terms of writing with a Muji pen, but let's next do the Sarasa clip. I'll do a Sarasa dry. I'll move on to a Pentel and a gel. I think that one's running out of ink. I've got a Pentel cleaner as well. I do love the Pentel cleaner. It writes very darkly, which always, to me, just, I don't know, it just looks better in the page. All right, I have a Pilot Juice Up. This one is the Leuchtturm 1917 pen, and it's a ballpoint pen, and I have been loving it. But in my Leuchtturm notebook, so this one here is like my personal everything at the moment. And I think it's very simple to transition from this to this for next year. I kind of just had to go back to basics for a while. So I used this book for that. And yeah, it's helped me a lot. And see how dark that is. I absolutely love the darkness of this pen. It almost looks like gel, actually. Okay, and then the last of the, oh no, second last, we've got to do the Hobonichi pen. So this is obviously my Uni 1P, and the pens that Hobonichi are bringing out to match the tabs are also Uni 1 pens. So this has been a favorite of mine. Look how dark that is. A favorite of mine for a very long time in you know, the normal size and this little fat one. I find the thicker barrel is good for my funny hands. Okay, lastly, let's do a Hobonichi pen. I'll just call this Jetstream. Okay, so that's all of the, what are we calling them? Gel and ballpoint pens. So this is the 2025 version. We've just got that lovely crinkliness, which if you used a pencil board, you would have much less of that. And in the 2026 version, let's try to compare them carefully. I think they're very much the same. I can't see anything different between the two really. Yep, they feel the same as well. And if we switch over to these ones, same, they look quite similar. I wouldn't say anything really about them. There's only just the shadow more than anything. All right, so let's move on to, lastly for this little section, I think, is the uni pins. I've got 0.1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. I guess I'll use the 0.3 from the middle. So this is a uni pin. So this is a felt pen, which of course gets you nice and dark ink, but does run the risk of bleed through. So let's see how this looks with bleed through. But I think I'll do these other felt style pens while we're at it. I've got the Funosuke brush pen here. This one, I can never remember which one is which. This is the soft tip with the grey body. The blue body is the hard tip. So I will write soft. I don't know when I stopped using the Muji pen to write the names. Probably straight away, hey? Oops. Soft. And then I'll do the hard tip while I'm here. I think I prefer the hard tip personally. A little bit more control. Although I really could do with a lot of practice. Okay, let's check out these three. So the uni pin is this one here, and no different to the others as far as I can see. And on the 2026 paper, same, no difference. I think maybe overall it is a little lighter, but I don't think I can really say that for sure. Okay, 2025 paper for the Funosuke are both actually fine. There's no bleed through. There's obviously ghosting. And if we compare that on the 2026 paper, it looks the same to me. I can't really see a difference. I'll just bring that up closer for you to take a look. So it's just these two here. Can't really see a great difference. So that's great. That means it's working really nicely in both papers. Okay, let's move on to, let's do the Tombows. So I thought for Tombows, I might do two different, like a darker and a lighter. So maybe we'll go one of these warm grey type colours, and then we'll go my favourite 772. Yep, 772. All right, so for this one, I'm actually going to write Tombow in my Muji pen, and I'll do that twice. So what I'll do is a single line and then a double line. That feels juicy. Okay, I'm super keen to see what these look like. So on the 2025 paper and the 2026 paper, and again, I can't really see a difference. I would say that maybe it's a little bit lighter on the 2026 paper, but maybe not. I might be just wishful thinking there. Cool. Well, I'm very happy with this paper. It's fabulous. All right, let's go the dot pens. And again, let's do a dark color. This blue, I think, is the darkest one that they've got. It's called Denim. And then we'll go a nice softer color. I think these are too soft. There's not much point. Let's go this pink one called Salmon. Okay, and we'll write those in. So I'll just call these Zig Dot. Just gonna pop the weeks under there just to support this. Okay. I love these pens, so I'm going to do a big dot, a medium dot, and a small dot, and then I'm going to do the same again, but go over them twice. Okay, that seems fair. And then the same with this one, big dot, medium dot, small dot, big dot twice, medium dot twice, small dot twice. And in the 2026 paper, okay, I just want to check these immediately. Let's go. All right, we've got maybe a bit of bleed through on that one, 2025 paper. Just bleeding just there. And this one, I don't think it is. So let me put them this way so you can see the 2025 paper here versus the 2026 paper here. I think we've got a touch of bleed through here that we're not quite seeing here. I think it's very close though. Awesome. All right. I think I'm down to the Mildliners. And again, actually I've got my calming colors here. So I'll take the purple and this, maybe the mustard. Let's do 3. I also have the grey brush mild liner, so I might try that one first. So I'm just going to pop mild liner here, mild liner, brush. Okay, let's start with the brush. We'll do a single and then two. Single, two, and then, oh, I need one more, 3 colors. I'll do something similar, but I might do 3 coats. I probably use mild liners the most, and the dot pens, I guess. That's mostly because I have them with me quite often. So they're quite wet going down on that paper. This is the 2025 paper. So let's try that on the 2026. Okay. We'll have a look at the brush first. Nothing happening with the brush, just the ghosting that we expect to see. And for the wedge, again, nothing really showing through. I can feel definitely crinkle for that wetness on the 3 strokes. I can't feel it on the 1 or 2. So that's the 2025 paper. And for 2026, same. Let's compare, I guess. Should be doing. I can't really see a difference between any of those either. And if we turn over to the mild liners, I can't feel that wetness on this side at all. And to compare them, I would say slightly less ghosting, but quite similar, really. I'll just compare them there. Okay, so one thing I also wanted to try was like a smudge test, particularly with the mild liners. So let's grab the pink one. So let's do 2025 first. I'm just going to do a stroke and then try to smudge it. Stroke, smudge, definitely smudges. I think this is going to be the case in both papers. Stroke, smudge. Okay, let's compare them. They both smudged for sure. This one seems to have, can you see that it's kind of almost pilled the paper, whereas this one doesn't seem to have done that. Maybe that's my stroke, I'm not sure. I'll just write mild liner in here again. And then I want to do the same with some of the gel pens. I'll just put smudge. So while we're here, in the 2025 paper, I'm just going to write Muji, and then I'm going to write hello. 1, 2, 3, smudge. We've got a little bit there. Muji, hello. 1, 2, 3, smudge. Okay, I think they're both smudged the same amount there, really. Yeah, no great difference between those two. So we've definitely got the same kind of smudging. And I always like to test putting Mildliner or Tombow over inks, but that's not really a product of the paper, it's a product of the ink, so I don't think there's much point in testing that in here. The other thing I wanted to do, okay, maybe let's step back for a second and think about what we've done. So I don't know whether just there was some bad batches of paper or if it was all meant to be a problem. Like I said, I didn't experience any issues with the paper in 2025 really, but I was feeling like that was because I didn't really use fountain pens in great detail in my Hobonichis. So, you know, I'm not quite sure whether there really was a problem for me or not. But I can say that in the 2026 for HON that I have here, there's no issue. I'm very excited to get back into using these books as well. It's very exciting. Looking through these swatches, I also can't see any real difference in the ink representation either. I'm just trying to see, for example, if the Uni 1P is blacker on one than the other, and I don't think that's the case. Same for the Jetstream. I think my Energel might have been running out of ink. No, I think they look the same. There's no issues there, and very excited that the Tombows and Mildliners, etc., don't bleed through, and they're barely ghosting as well, which is fantastic. Definitely think there's less ghosting on this new paper. This looks a little bit darker to me than this one, but like teeniest amount. Oh, very exciting. Okay, one more thing that I was thinking of doing was grabbing some washi tape and just having a look at how that works on the paper. So I have like some of my favorite washi tapes here with me, and I'm just going to grab a few. I'm going to stick them down and then bring them back up again and see how they go. So what am I going to use? I've got some MT here. Let's do that. So I'll just pull off a little roll of MT and I'll stick it down here. I'm just going to leave the end up a little bit because I want to peel it up again. And I'll do the same in my 2026. Just thought testing a washi might be useful as well. Put this back in my drawer. Okay, let's pull this up. Oh, okay, there's some resistance, but it comes up. That's the most important thing. And in this one, similar resistance, no real difference in that one. Okay, have I got something a little bit different here? Maybe we should try the PET. Oh, PET is so scary. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I think we'll have to do these totally separately. Okay, I'm going to place this down and then just leave a little piece up at the top, give it a couple of seconds and then try moving it up. Very easy, but then I've torn the paper. Now that's probably normal. Let's see, I'm going to do it in this one as well. That's the 2025, so let's do 2026. Same again, I'll just place it down and then peel it back up. And same, I've peeled up the paper. Okay, so PET is fairly unrepositionable. Let's cut off that little bit of sticker there so I don't get it stuck on anything. Okay, so I've got this pink one here, pink and red. It's a little bit stickier, I guess is the word I want to use. I think you can probably hear it. So I'll just see what it does on this paper as well. So I'll just pop a piece down here, leave a little bit up at the end. Same on this side. And let's have a go at peeling it back. Oh, no worries. Very smooth. Easy. Same. It's actually behaving exactly the same as the one above it. Awesome. Okay, I think I mentioned that I wasn't going to do fountain pen inks, but I've checked some of the comments that I've seen and you've been asking me to do a fountain pen inks. So let's turn the page to March. And I've got a very small selection of fountain pen inks here to test. And like I said, Amanda at Line Musings has already done this on her channel, so make sure you check that out. So what I've got is my standard TWSBI black. This was probably the first fountain pen ink that I bought. So I'm just gonna, what's on the back of this? Turning the page to a new year. Okay, maybe I will do it in January. So I'll do it here. TWSBI black. And then I have the Sailor Manyo Kuzu. I love this ink. It's a beautiful color. Sailor Manyo Kuzu. I have a Sailor, what is this one? A Sailor dye ink. So Sailor dye in 680. It's a very cool color. And then I have two Ferris wheel press inks. This one is Ferris wheel press Sherry Sonata, and then this one is a Ferris wheel press Age of Aurum. Now the difference between the two is this one has a shimmer built in. It has a shimmer, and this pink one doesn't. So this one is called, I'll do it down here, Ferris wheel press Age of Aurum. Now, I'm not going to do pen swatches in here. What I'm going to do is I actually have this spoon. I wanted something that I could gather ink on the end of. It's one of my mum's fancy spoons from when she was younger. So I'm going to, I've not done this before, so we'll give it a go. I'm just going to dip the spoon end into the ink, and I've got a little bit of it on the end there, and I'm just going to cool. And I also have a little tub of water here to wash that off with. So I'll pop that to the side. I'll set this one up to do the same thing, and I might just hold that down with my phone. Okay, so I've written both those out. I'm going to go ahead and do the same with the 2026 paper. And this is kind of fun, actually. I do love playing with fountain pen inks, but I don't tend to find the time to fuss about with them so much. So I'm usually in a bit of a hurry when I'm planning, and sometimes even when I'm journaling. All right, so these are going to take a while to dry. I'm just going to go through and just make this little squiggle, same as I have just there, using dry spoon end dipped in the ink. I'm just wiping a little bit of the excess off on the bottle and then cool. I'll see if I can lean over and do this one without getting my sleeve. What I might also do is just, well, I don't know, I'll see how it dries, but I'm wondering if I should just try to spread that out a bit so you can see the color when there's less ink, I guess. I also don't know if this massive quantity of ink is going to cause a problem, so maybe I should do something with a bit less in it. Oh, better get the same amount. I'll just mix this shimmer through on the last one and then have to be quick. Oh, my spoon doesn't fit. So I'm going to pop it in the lid. Okay, we have them both laid out here. This is the reason why I didn't want to play with inks today. Anyway, and I have it all over my fingers as well. I think what I'm going to do is just spread out the base of these slightly, like that. Oh, it's dried much more quick. Okay, so I'm going to let these dry and then we'll come back and compare them. We'll see you soon. Okay, these seem to be dry, so let's take a closer look. I'm really actually very intrigued. So here's our 2025 paper. So you can see the inks have dried very nicely. You see this Manyo Kuzu has this kind of green-brown color and then a pink in it. It's such a cool color, so groovy. The dye ink is a kind of a brown color. We've got this beautiful pink and then our Age of Aurum with a gold shimmer through the brown and then just the flat black of the TWSBI. So what happened? Let's see. Okay, so in the 2025 paper, we've got the TWSBI's fine and the Age of Aurum looks like maybe just a start of bleeding there, but we've definitely got bleed through on the other inks. Keep in mind though, they were really heavily laid down. Like that's a lot of ink on these. So all of them don't ghost at the levels where you'd be writing, except potentially this Sailor dye ink. The others all don't bleed through at the lighter ends of the trail. So the big test is in the 2026 paper. So again, we've got the nice flat black. We've got, actually let's compare how this colors come out. So the Sailor Kuzu, sorry, the Kuzu, not the dye I meant before. I feel like you get a little more of the green, maybe. Not sure, because this one does have, it's a thinner line, I guess. This one, the ink is darker, darker here as well, and potentially a bit darker on this one as well, the Sherry Sonata. And the Age of Aurum, still good shimmer, and I would say they look about the same. So in the 2026, how does it compare on the back? All right, no bleed through on the TWSBI. We've got bleed through on the Sailor Manyo Kuzu, which was here too. but I think it's less bleed through. No, about the same. This one had bleed through, this one doesn't. It's ghosting. That's the dye ink. This one is actually not bleeding. It looks like it is. It's definitely less than on this one, but again, at the lower end, nothing. And this one, about the same. But on all of them, I would say that the ghosting is less, just slightly less on this one. What's this one? The 2026 paper. The bleed through, I think also the bleed is better on the 2026 paper. So remember, this was very thick ink laid on. So I think for just normal writing, you won't get that that bleed through happening, which is really good to see. So for example, this color here is the heaviest you would ever see it when it's popping down into this box, and there's absolutely no bleed through in that section there, and you could barely see it. Exactly the same as the Muji pen, really, the amount of ghosting that you can see through there. Now in terms of crinkle factor, I think they're about the same. There's none on that one. None on that one. Tiny bit. Yeah, tiny bit. About the same on that one. None there. And a little bit there. A little bit of crinkle there. And a little bit of crinkle there. Okay, so let's have another look at them side by side. 2025 on the left, 2026 on the right. I think they look pretty similar. Again, I think the ink shows up darker on this side, on the 2026 paper, just slightly. And I guess it's going to depend on the ink. All right, so that's my very brief walkthrough of fountain pen inks. What, for me, I was more excited about was this comparison of the things that I use in my everyday journaling. I really wanted to see how the pens that I use, which will be my Muji, my Uni-1, and the Fudenosuke hard tip, as well as all my dot pens and Mildliner pens as well. I use all of those all the time in my cousin and A6 and my weeks as well. I quite liked this washi test as well, and the PET, yeah, no change to how much paper, no change to the stick level of PET tape, and I couldn't really see a change in the washi tape either. So that's good that it's still peel backable for the washi tape, and yeah, not surprising that the PET doesn't peel back very well. But super excited for these colors to have worked so nicely. So I'll just turn over and you can see, no ghosting, no bleed through happening here, and very, very minimal ghosting. But I think it's the same on both 2025 and 2026 paper. I can't see a difference. Perhaps I had a good batch of the 2025 paper. I really, the differences that I can see are very much just, quite minimal. I think the Zig has a little bit of bleed through in the 2025 that it didn't in the 2026, but it could have just been how hard I was pressing, I guess. What I might do is one more thing with the Zigs, because I do use them quite a bit. Let's 2025 at the top. Let's grab this teal I tend to use a bit. This is called Ocean. Yeah, Ocean. So similar to the fountain pen ink, I'm just going to do a squiggle on there and on there, and then with another color, purple, because that's what I do the most in here is I letter with these pens. And then I would go around them with the Muji pen as well. So does that come through? So we've got definite ghosting on the 2025 paper, and I would say maybe a very, very tiny amount of bleed through coming through there. Not much, but a small amount. And on the 2026 paper, looks good. And we've got no bleed through. We've got ghosting, of course, but no bleed through at all on that. So that is probably the most relevant test for me, is like that quick writing, because sometimes, especially when you're hand lettering, you are going over strokes. So you will, like I've hit that line twice, I've crossed over here and here. So there is a bit of double up, which I've tested with these second points here and these points here. And there was no ghosting, or I'm sorry, no bleed through for those either. So I think it's a pretty good test. I'm very happy with the results. Yeah, I'm excited. So tell me, are you going to buy a HON for 2026? I am loving some of the colors and designs for 2026 are so fun. The mother ones with the clay figurines are adorable. That calligraphy wicks is just beautiful. What else? There's that dot wicks with the little flowers. It's from the same range as that hot pink cover with the big white flowers drawn onto it. What else do I love? The Moomin stuff is all very, very cute. I'm loving the colors range as well this year. There's a lovely blue and that flamingo pink on the outside and like coral on the inside. That's lovely. There's a lilac and honey one. There's so much beautiful stuff this year. I'm very excited. And yeah, still deciding what to get. I may end up in an original just because I want to put it in a cover, whereas I'm finding the HON you can't put into a cover quite so easily. Not sure. I really thought the HON was going to be good for me for work because it's hardcover. And it is. I've got the A5 at work at the moment, but I really just love A6, which is kind of why I ended up in this pocket, or passport, or whatever it's called. But yeah, having a play today, thank you Minimaru, has really made me remember why I love this paper so much. I love that crinkle factor that you get when you feel the pen marks in the paper. I know some people don't like that, but I absolutely love it. It's so nice to feel. Yeah. All right, I'm going to stop talking. Thank you so much for watching. Many, many thanks to Minimaru for sharing a brand new Hobonichi HON 2026 planner with me. So generous of you, and I think a really good idea to get the community to be testing out the paper. And you know, it's lovely. It does feel different to the 2025. Definitely a smoother finish. But yeah, like I said, check out Amanda at Line Musings. She's done a lot of different fountain pen inks, and hers look great. For me, I was very keen on like I said, the pens that I use most routinely, and I think I'm very happy with how they have turned out in here. All right, I think I'll leave it there. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions at all about the new paper or the new range from Hobonichi, please ask. I have been studying it intensely. I've been writing about the lineups. I'm very excited. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. And guess what? I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.